Hi, welcome to MSZ Tech Fit. Today we're going to be working on Unit 1, Enterprise in the Business World, and it's assignment C. So we're working through Learning Aim C, present a business model for a business startup. The objectives we're working on today are explain the reasons for the choice of format selected for a business startup, present a realistic business model for a business startup, present a realistic business model for a business, explaining how the format and business model will enable it to carry out its activities successfully. Final objective is present a realistic business model for a business, explaining how the format and supporting evidence justifies the initial business plan. So for your introduction, what I want you to do is I want you to give a definition of what a business model is. Please rewrite it in your own words. And if you do get it off the internet or from any textbooks, please remember to reference this in the assignment. You need to explain what you will include in the body of the assignment as well. These should include all of this section here for P5, P6, M5, and D3 if you're working. These are some examples of business formats, and for this assignment, you need to define these and then you need to give an example of how they relate to your business and some examples of how they work. For P5, as we just explained before, I did not go through the list of formats that we did have listed on that slide, only because I am going through it here on P5. So for P5 is to explain the reasons for the choice of format selected for a business startup. So what you need to do as um, an example is just here in front of you. Please write it in your own words. It's only a guide. You are going to define each business format. Then you're going to give the pros and the cons or the advantages and disadvantages. These are just a example of how you can write it. So this is continued here. I've just given an example of all of the ones that were included on the previous slide. We're then moving on to the business model. So you want to give a definition of what a business model is. So a business model shows how a business aims to generate revenue, make a profit from operations. The model includes the components and functions of business as well as revenues it generates and expenses it incurs. So you want to reword that, or you need to reference where you got out from. The task, so the task we're going to be working on for the entire assignment is you will be presenting a report for a potential um, business investment. Yeah, so you're actually presenting it to an investor. You're doing this in order to secure monies or to get funding in order to launch this business, and hopefully it will be successful. So the investor will want to see that you have a realistic plan, so a realistic business, and you need to have evidence of this. So we're going to be moving on to the next section. For the P6, which is all about the business model, these are the different sections you need to work on. So you need to have the name of the business, make sure it's short and catchy. Yeah, so it's easy for people to remember. You then need to say what your product or service is that you will be offering or you'll be selling to your customers. You want to say whether you will make or buy your products. Are you going to make it at home? Is it handmade, or is it going to be um, products that you buy and then sell it back? You need to actually include that in the assignment. You also need to include the format of the business you have chosen for your business. What format have you chosen for your business? You need to choose it. You need to write it in here and say why it is best for you as a business owner. Is it going to be a sole trader wherein you will get all the profits? Will it be partnership where you have to share it, and so on? So you need to ensure that you put that in the business model. You need to also have your aims and objectives. These we have discussed in class. Make sure your objectives are smart. You need to have a time frame in which you need to achieve them. They need to be realistic. They need to be specific. Yes, so we're all about our SMART objectives. We went through that in class. I will put up a tutorial on SMART later on. The customer, market, and market research to support this. You need to also write about the channel, how customers will buy your products or services. Are you gonna sell it face to face? Are you gonna sell it online? Will you have a shop for this? You need to talk about your finances and costs for your startup business. So your startup costs and all of that information. So all included on these two finance section, your sources of finance, or your funding, where are you getting it from? Are you going to get a governmental loan, or are you going to get a governmental grant? Do you have personal savings? Are you going to get it from your family members and friends? Are you going to get investors? So all of that you need to include here. The stakeholders and their influence. So you want to explain. So, stakeholders are normally anyone that has an invested interest in your business. So, these will include your employees or your members of staff, if you will have any investors. Yes, the government will have a stake in it as well. The community will have a stake in it. So, you need to explain all these stakeholders and their influence on your business. Yeah. Then the final bit will be sources of advice and support. You can use the governmental website .gov for us in the UK. You can go to a member of your family. You can go to business, like you have businesses that do specialize in this area. This slide is just here to give you additional information and some of what I said on the previous slide, just to help you out a bit. Hope it does help you. I am not reading through this. For you P6, this is just the different sections that you need to include on your P6, or in your P6, that is, sorry. You need to give a realistic business model for your startup. So you need to give as much details as you can. And I won't go through the sections. These are just here as a guide for you. So, market research. The process used to collect information and data for the purpose of making business decisions. The methodology may include publication research, interviews, surveys, and other research techniques, and could include both present and historical information. So for this assignment, you need to write about the different types of research you'll be using, whether it's going to be your primary research, whether it's going to be a secondary research, and you need to give details of these with evidence to support the research that you have done, to make an informed decision about whatever aspect of your business you plan to go ahead with. This is, as I said before, it's all an example of what you need to put into your assignment. So here you have your customer market, your market research, your competitors. So you need to talk about your competitors, and when you've researched what you found, marketing plan, and that's your product and service. All of this here, I won't read through it because it's there for you to just have a look. You can pause the video and use it as a reference or as a guide to complete your assignment. To illustrate the business model for your startup, including the revenue and the expenditure. So that's what we are working on. We need to include the revenue and the expenditure for your P6. So I've put it in two different sections here, only because you can present it in the first format here with the red and blue text, or you can put it in this format here. So it's totally up to you how you're going to present this information in your assignment, just as long as you have it. Finally, in this video 4 and 5, you are going to present a realistic business model for a business, explaining how the format and business model will enable it to carry out its activities successfully. As you can see on here, the student who completed this section went through the different parts of her his or her format and model, and then she's explained why it has or will make her business successful. So you want to think about the different aspects of it, and then you want to write it down. Hope this helps. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel so that you can get all the notification of the great videos that we have here for you. Give the video a thumbs up to support the channel and share us out. See you in my next video on DTS TechFit. We're all about learning.